10 February 2023, Friday, MAO with Cal once again. Alright, TGIF, thank God it's Friday, and let's enjoy today's session. Now, can past history predicts a looming recession? Now, this is the ultimate question that everybody is asking right now, and apparently, as the market is climbing up, right, it's difficult to inform anyone that about the economic indicators are all at the very, very bad side of the track. But again, the thing is this, who is this guy on my screen now? This guy is a very interesting phenomenon because this guy actually predicted the earthquake in Turkey. Oh my God, okay? This guy himself, he has a very interesting name. His name is actually, let me just take a look one more time. His name is Hoogerbeets. Alright, he is from Holland if I'm not wrong. Okay, so he actually predicted using past history and numbers to predict the earthquake in this Turkey, and in fact itself, the crazy part of it is that he even mentioned how bad that earthquake will be. So all this will be coming up. Don't miss this session. Alright, let's go. Now once again, disclaimer apply as usual, and thank you AIMS for the kind sponsorship. Now before we go into that part, alright, I want to bring back to you about how this Biden did his Congress in the State of Union 2 days ago. And now the new norm is to actually shout at your president. Okay, this has become a new norm instead. And I want to show you the video that I found online. I tell you this, think about it. If it's going to happen in Singapore, I tell you things will get so bad. Alright, let's watch it now. 1 minute, decline, and let's go.
Anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal.
Republicans expected a conciliatory Biden. You know, this is a president who had just lost a chamber of Congress. And that is certainly not what happened here.
We're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
President Biden made it clear very much that if there are issues that where we can work together with Republicans, sure, I will do that. But he will protect his priorities and he will protect his vision for America. So he was almost kind of defiant in that sense.
The State of the Union is strong.
He sounds this note of optimism over and over that the American public survives. But if you look at public sentiment and if you look at what the president is saying, you are seeing kind of two different Americas right now. And that's certainly the challenge for the White House as President Biden prepares for a likely re-election bid and finish out at least his first term in office.
Alright, you can see from there, right, what the lady was saying there. Because now the thing is there's no polling there, and it seems that the Democrats themselves are not very happy with Biden. In fact, 36% of the Democrats support him. Only 36%. This is really incredible. And you notice that during that night itself, right, let me show you this, okay, everybody was clapping hands, but all these people, these on the forces, none of them clap their hand. I tried to Google on that. If you have the reason, please put in the comment box. And I couldn't find anything. It's just that they just don't want. Okay, just don't want. Alright. And why is that so? I'm not too sure. But probably has to do with the balloon that came from China, right? Let's watch this.
It's also passed the Bipartisan Equality Act. I'm committed to work with China where we can advance American interests and benefit the world. But make no mistake about it. As we made clear last week, if China threatens our sovereignty, we will act to protect our country, and we did.
Now you can see very clear itself, alright? Kamala Harris have to really support her president. And on this Republican side, you can see that, okay. Now the joke here is, okay, yes indeed, you fired down the balloon. But you spend hundreds of thousands for that. That means that you actually send a plane up, one of the fastest, best plane in America, and you use a missile to get it down. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars of jet fuel and the missile for the balloon that cost probably $2,000 to $3,000. So just wondering here yourself, who actually won this? Right. Anyway, let's watch this.
Look, let's be clear. Winning the competition should unite all of us. We face serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader who changed places with Xi Jinping. Name me one. Name me one. America's rallying the world to meet those challenges, from climate to global health, to food insecurity, to terrorism, to territorial aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending more, and doing more. Look, the bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic, and those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never, ever been a good bet to bet against America. Never.
So you can see very, very clear distinctive between them, a Democrat and a Republican. All right. Remember last time as well when Trump was in front. All right. What happened to what did she do? She torn the papers away. Oh gosh. All right. Anyway, this is what I want to tell you guys. I'm not sure who actually won this, but let's hope that there's no more further provocation from this China side, because it doesn't make sense to actually be setting balloons everywhere. All right, now who is this Frank Hoogerbeets, sorry. All right, this is a new phenomenon. Within one day, it's all right, his fans went up by 900,000. So who is he? He's a researcher, okay? And he used maths. All right, so we saw the very devastating situation in this Turkey right now. I heard that more than 20,000 people have unfortunately perished. We really rest in peace for all these people. But this guy actually came in days before the earthquake, and he used mathematics and numbers, and he actually predicted the earthquake. Now, he was very, very specific. All right, he was very specific. He says that this will come, and based on numbers and the planetary alignment, which is we have covered this before, apparently there is two incidents by about a few hundred years ago. I can't remember exactly which day was that. Right, two time period whereby the thing is that the planet line up, and that point itself, that earthquake happened in Turkey. Right, that's for like hundreds of years ago. And he actually posted this. This is really incredible. Sooner or later, there will be a magnitude of 7.5 earthquake, and he actually gave the specific place, and he gave the number. Oh my God, 7.5. And the thing is that he actually draw a dot at his map during his talk. And I can tell you this, it was almost spot on, okay? Almost spot on. This is incredible. So if you want to know more about him, you can just go and Google him or go and find his Twitter, and you can actually hear for yourself. This is really incredible. So why am I bringing this itself? Because if he can actually use the past and history to predict this earthquake, then seriously, it's all right. The numbers that's going on right now, you should be very careful, because I still think that there'll be an earthquake in financial market coming very soon. All right. So the Dow Jones lost 250 points last night, and the Nasdaq down 114, and S&P down by 36. Now, we're now getting closer to the 4,000 mark, and we mentioned this before, that likelihood there is the chance of seeing 4050 nearer to next CPI data. And in my opinion, the CPI data will be lower, but nowhere near the market expectation, okay? And that's why I think that we must be very careful. And of course, last night, Google down by another 4.39%. And I mentioned to you guys, Google will lose the $100 mark, because whatever's happened now for their using the AI bot itself, it doesn't really make sense at all, and it's going to kill their business if you look at it, right? And Meta also went down because they were similar thingy. So basically, Alphabet shares or Google shares lead the selling, and some traders are betting that the Federal Reserve will do a lot more tightening than what Wall Street is pricing in. And of course, with the AI's fight between Google and Microsoft, it's pretty clear Microsoft is actually gaining it. And in short itself, right, everybody thinks that although we have inflation coming down, deflation is coming in, but it's still be a long way to go. And the earnings, although many companies have done better than expected, but because more the analysts have revised the numbers very low, so it's like, it's really not really a clear indication of the current situation right now. And of course, during the whole day itself, you can see the market like to do a sudden spike up like this, and then after that, they just bring it back down again to start the next day. So yesterday, from the starting point all the way, the selling just keep on happening, and this really shows that the market want to get out, all right? So if you look at Alphabet shares right now, you can see pretty clear that Alphabet shares, okay, let me just bring my thing here. Okay, now Alphabet share hit a high of 107, 108 level. That was where we'd say there's some resistance. And then what happened? The price come down to 101. That is a very important technical point. And the market slides it down. And then we have another wave of selling last night. Now the volume is really, really big. Okay, so which means that, right, expect some support at 91 to 92 tonight. Okay. We should see some support around here. If the market still closed below 90, then psychologically, right, we may even see 82 in the coming weeks, all right? Now, 82, 83 level was the low end back then here in this November. If it goes there, the Nasdaq will have some problem, yeah? So traders kindly take note of that. Okay, so the question is recession really ringing? Well, apparently itself, the US yield curve has inverted for the lowest levels for the last 40 years. All right, let me bring you Bloomberg, this broadcaster to tell you more on what happened here. All right, let's go.
Let's bring in our global economics and policy editor, Kathleen Hayes, and discuss that deepest yield curve inversion since 1986. How powerful a signal is this?
Pretty powerful. You know, the yield curve, the difference between the 2-year note and the 10-year benchmark note, has been, when it inverts, that means the 2-year note is higher, much higher than the 10-year yield. They're not supposed to be that way. If the economy is healthy, you want to sell the 10-year note, the yield goes up, and you want to buy the 2-year. But this is a very different time because there's so much worry about the Fed tightening these, with excessive or successive rate hikes. And what this chart tells you is that when there's an inverted yield curve, particularly a more extremely inverted one, since the biggest, as you said, Sherry, since 1986, it's followed by a recession. Now, there have been some inverted yield curves that were not followed by a recession, but every recession has been. That's what's happened. So that's why it's so important. Now, it's interesting, too, that a story that moved the markets, but it got a lot of attention. And it's about Macro Hive, their senior market strategist, saying, after these bets on a 6% funds rate in the interest rate options market that started like late Friday and Monday and has continued through this week, well, she says, you know what? The funds rate's going to have to go up to 8% to get inflation down. That's where the Fed's ultimately going to have to take it. Right now, the market's pricing in something more like 5.2, 5.3. Fed consensus has been 5.1, but they've opened the door to having to push them higher. But that does seem to be kind of extreme to a lot of people, although two former Fed officials on our shows many times, Charlie Plosser and Jeff Lacker, have said between the two of them that the funds rate may have to go up to 6.5 to 8%. Now, it's also true, Tom Barkin, for example, Federal Reserve Richmond Bank president, said they have to stay the course. He's not ready to pull them back. But it's interesting, Heidi, how much the markets were saying, oh, the Fed's going to pivot, it's going to start cutting rates until very recently. And now it seems like they're turning around and saying, oh, my gosh, maybe they're going to over-tighten it. Maybe we truly are heading into recession.
All right, so you heard for yourself, guys, really, right? I've been saying this. The Wall Street is a bit to me was a bit really out of context, because I don't believe that we're going to see anything could be like rate cut this year. It's impossible. It doesn't make sense. It'll be ridiculous. Now, one thing that I'll show to you in numbers form. Let's take a look at numbers. Yeah. Now, the thing is this: from 0% interest rate, right? We have actually seen the highest point for the CPI data is 9.1%. Okay. So the interest rate goes all the way up now to about 4.5%. Okay, this is what we have right now. And the CPI data have dropped all the way down to 6.5. Okay, so we can see the maths here is almost directly related, which means that about 4% of the interest rates, right, interest rate here itself, and then this is CPI data. You can see that it is the upside of the interest rates and the downside CPI is there. So if you want to go down to 2% for what Federal Reserve wants, okay, that means that it'll be down another 4% point, right? So which means that we can see going up to at least 6 to 8%, okay? That is how mathematically I believe that these guys have come up with. Again, this is my view. I've been sharing this with you guys since the start of the year, and I've been telling you this. They won't stop at 5.25. In fact, it will cross 6. And like now, you can hear for yourself, it could be as high as 8%. So do you agree with me? Put in the comment box, all right? So moving along with that, right, we can see now the US dollar is actually now firming up, right? I've been calling for buy on US dollar recently, if you remember that. Okay, okay, I've been saying that the US dollar should be find some support at about 100 to 101 level, and now it's 103. And of course, if you look at the trajectory of this downtrend, which is beautiful, there is a very clear cut over and then a reversal rebound, which means that if the dollar is to find space and have strength, we can see easily 105 in about 2 to 3 weeks time. And of course, when that happens, the gold price will fall, the oil price will fall, Nasdaq will go down a bit, and probably the Dow Jones too. So that's my reason why I say that it's time to take some profit off the table. Okay, so traders, take note of that. And of course, the US bonds is also very nicely, the 10-year yields. You can see that you've been holding above the 3.4%. That is a 50% mark for the Fibonacci. And now it's clinched above the 3.82, which is 3.64. Yes, stayed and closed above. Hence, therefore, I still believe that we will see this very soon, about 4%, all right? But my ultimate target for the 10-year yield is still going to be 5%, okay? So that's how I see it. And of course, if the bond yield is going out, that means the bond price is coming down. And I said last week, it's time to short the US bonds, okay? So it's very different from what other people say, but this is my view, so I'm just sharing it out loud. And of course, I tell you guys to buy some VIX. I say that from 18 to 17, you can buy some VIX. And VIX bottom out around 17 right here. And now it's back above 18. And last night it hit 20. Yes. So 21 will be a very good level to consider take some profit. And if 21 clears, the next target will be 24 because that is the moving average 150 days. But my ultimate target for this round is 26. All right. I think we'll be very, very clear on this. And if things get really, really drastic or crazy enough or maybe something, a black swan, we may see even 32. Okay, so guys, this is the numbers. I hope that you have made some money from this. Congratulations for those who have believed in me and make some money. All right, now let's look at my personal chart here. This is really my own and I'm sharing you right now. This is the Dow Jones chart, all right, with the Fibonacci and all the trend lines. Now you can see that this is A, and this is B, and this is C, and this is D, and we have E right now. So you can see that not only I have the cyclical tops, I also have the trend lines. And every time when the market breaks the trend line that I draw, you can see very clearly there was some selling. Okay, so we have at C here, and the market stopped there, and it coincides with the 61.8 level, the Fibonacci. Hence, the market dropped down beautifully to the 50% mark. So if you have sold at 61.8, which is 33,770, if you sold there, you just had to buy back at 32,786, which is about 1,000 point. Yeah, so basically it's a 1,000 point free flow market. Okay, so now the thing is this, why am I talking about that? Because this morning we can see very clearly the market now is trading below the 61.8. And if you ask me, most likely it's going to come down here again, which is the 32,786 level. Now this is basing use AIMS platform, yeah? And the thing is this, the options market now also looking at the S&P 500 to basically strike at 4050 level. Huge contracts are there. So is it a telltale sign or could it be a miss? I'm not too sure, but 32,786 can be done if the market continue to sell. So traders, do take note of that. Current price right now is about 33,700, so which means 1,000 points from where we are right now. Wow, 1,000 points. That's a lot of money, friends. Okay, now using my TWB indicator, you can see very clear that the market itself is opening up in a very incredible form. So the new BNB last night means that the upside can be as high as 34,930. That is the upside. The downside itself will be 32,942. So it's very near to the target I mentioned. And interestingly, 32,700 area is also the MA200, right? Very nearby. Now the KSI, the big boss indicator, says it's sell because you can see it's all the way red. And the weightage itself since here has been calling for sell. So the thing is this, now we have a very strong combination of KSI and KRW ball calling for sell. And if the market really breaks down later on, we can see some selling. And do take note of these numbers in the market so that you can actually profit from there. Yep, very important. If you like this chart itself, join us. Okay, this is the PTP version. Okay, all right. Now, one thing that is one of the black swan that I mentioned before is the Swiss National Bank or Credit Suisse. Now, the Swiss Central Bank posted the biggest loss in their 116 years history. They lost $143 billion. That's a lot of money. All right, that is basically how much is that? I think it's about 1/4 of our sovereign fund, yeah? They lost about 131 billion in the foreign currency position and 1 billion on the Swiss franc as the franc gain, all right? So all this is not, it's really not, it's real, and this is something that you must understand. And of course, if let's say the Swiss National Bank is down, then it could be big problem Credit Suisse, right? So you can see from the numbers, it's very clear that the Swiss National Bank, the allocation itself have changed a fair bit, okay? And one of the very distinctive one, you can see over here, they basically have some losses and still holding on for an Apple. And then they also have some places they put for healthcare and communication and stuff like that. But most of the shares that they are holding now and versus the current price is quite a bit distant. So all I can say is this, guys. Okay, if the Swiss National Bank got problem, then the next thing will be the Credit Suisse. All right. Now, Credit Suisse last night actually also came out their earnings, and oh my God, it was terrible, really bad. Let me just take a look here. It was so bad that it lost about $10.5 billion. Okay, and that's why the share price basically plunged down by basically, this is not updated. It's down more than, I think, 20 to 30%, yeah, 20%, yeah, from the class closing. And I told you guys that this Credit Suisse will see $3, remember? Yes, it has happened, okay? Credit Suisse will see $3, and I believe that we will see even lower. All right, maybe at 2 plus, 2 plus, or 250 or something. I still think that Credit Suisse got a lot of room to go down, okay? Maybe 250 we can consider into that. All right, so that is Credit Suisse and Swiss National Bank. The thing is that right now, let's look at some alternate market news. You can see that the money supply over year on year has came down all the way to negative. The last time we had this was back in 1095, right, whereby we have to really pull our belts, right, because things were getting very bad, expensive, and of course, money wasn't there. So of course, when you pump in so much money into the system, you're going to make the whole market into a joyous event. Hence, therefore, that's why they allow traders power in. But now the thing is this, with all the interest rate hiking, the money itself is reducing. Then if the money is reducing, you have money in stock market, what will you do? So most likely you will be selling your stocks and then take this money for your own usage, right? So this is a very important chart. This is spread between the US BBB rated corporate bond yield and the 90 days US bill yield, okay? Very simple, you look at it right now, almost every year where it's at the bottom itself, right, that is almost the start of the bear market. Very interesting. And at the same time, back then, a lot of these big investors were very got out from the market, and the retail were going into the market because a lot of guys will say that everything is good, and then what happened? Bang, things go all wrong, all right? So you can see that very important. So my friends, we are now back to the same level again. Let's hope that nothing happened. And if anything happens, we just know what to do with it, okay? All right, so that's why peace first. Okay, so that is what we have right now for you. Just hit PowerPoint issue. Right, this is the sign of greed whereby the thing goes down. Then, of course, this is the Morgan Stanley Global Risk Demand Index. And obviously, we are now, wow, with our highest level for the last many years, okay? So, like I say again, right, if this is going to be good, okay, why not, right? So, guys, we are a little bit overstretched right now, so traders need to be very careful, okay? Very careful. And this is the ISM manufacturing PMI. You can see that we are very close together. But more important thing is that the numbers are all coming down at the same time. So things are going up expensive, but the buying power goes down, and then the business is affected. And we can see on the data, anytime when it goes to zero, okay, we have some issues there. And then, of course, things get very drastic after that, all right? So you must take note what to do and prepare yourself so that you can actually profit from it and not become a slave of it. Huh? Okay, so that is the alternate market news. There's 2 more to go. Let's continue here. Now, this is the S&P 500, my personal chart. As you can see on the screen right now, that the KSI has turned to red, KRW turned to red, so it means the selling pressure is already in. So today, if the S&P 500 loses the pivot 2, which is 4058, then there will be some selling. But of course, the MA30 and the MLP, I would say this is our own KSL, tell me that right around 4052 to 4026, we can consider to buy back some position if you're short in the market. Yep. So again, if you like this chart, this is called the TWB, this PTP, Professional Trader Program chart. If you like it, right, join us. Okay, you can try to on it. Okay. All right, so with all the data, I hope that you understand that my view here is, let's hope that the data from the past can give us indication, because if that happens, that means that we know what to do for the next coming weeks. All right, so let's bring the chart in right now and see what we have for you today. Let's take a look. Now, first of all, very clear that this is the, okay, let me just bring it in. This is the current situation now on the KFC, on the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq has rebounded a little bit, so nothing has changed. The Dow Jones itself have came down, but rebounded from the low. As long as the Dow Jones stays above here, 33,031, I think it's pretty safe. Okay, so that will be the KFC level. Let's look with the charts for today, right? So for today now, the Dow Jones has recovered a little bit, okay, has recovered a little bit. And wait a minute, let me just double check. Is there no pivot for today? Yes, indeed. Today there will be no pivots, right? No pivot. So with no pivots, then it's going to be clear. If the market stays above OP, we can see the Dow going to 33,865 because that is the stack there. But if the market goes below OP and go below 33,037, then of course, then we're going to expect some real selling to bring it down all the way to 32,900 plus. Okay. So for traders, do take note of that, yeah, for the Dow Jones. For the Nasdaq today, well, it's going to be pretty clear. Let me just take away the line, not to show the lines there. Okay, so for today, the very clear, the market opens between the two pivots, so it's going to wait for direction. And the thing is that because it's below MLP, right, so I suggest that you guys wait for a while. If you want to buy up, right, wait for the market go above MLP first that you buy. Now, if the market stays down and break below 12,282, then the selling on pivot 2 will bring it down all the way to 12,064. All right, so traders, please take note of these numbers. Very, very critical. And for the S&P 500, right, at the moment, S&P 500 did a strong reversal last night, and of course that was the, that is something that to take note of, the CCYR, meaning that, right, if the market stays up instead, then the buying will come in again, and all this selling effort could be wasted. So upside target is 42.68. All right, that is still a very, very good figure to do as an investor to cut away, or not the 3997. My bad, 3997 target. All right, so the downside, if it breaks below 4058, the first target should be about here, 3997. All right, so traders take note. KSI has green to red, but of course it's not included, so it's green still. And of course, this is the KRW, which tells me that something's not right. So just be very, very careful, okay? All right, so that is S&P 500 right now. Let's go to the Nikkei. Where are you, Nikkei? Okay, so Nikkei has tried to go up past pivot 2. It's an inverse pivot, by the way. And you can see that, right, the upside was there, but it didn't sustain. And I mentioned before, right, guys, that most likely the Nikkei will hang around here for a while until the range go back. Now, the thing is, if it doesn't hang around, then we're going to do more, right? So the downside could be as much as 27,157. Okay, so it's about 400 points away if let's say really can't. Okay, all right. KSI and KRW has both a red indication, so most likely there should be some selling interest. But because the KRW shows as red turns to blank, so blank and red is not the best combination. So let's see how it goes from here. But if the Nikkei breaks below 27,274, we can see 27,157. Okay. All right. So that is the Nikkei, and because DAX is open, I can bring in DAX right now to go live. Now DAX is now trading exactly at the BNB level. So the question is, if it really goes up, right, then of course, then that will be even better to show that the whole world is watching it. But the thing is that if the market failed to crawl back to 15,460. Then a pullback all the way to 15,227 is really very possible. Yeah, so traders, take note of these few numbers. Okay, so we have that. Let's look at crude oil. Now, crude oil rebounding today. Yesterday it was down all the way, create a new BNB. So with that, CCRY is a buy in a way for Monday. So if it maintains as yellow bar, it's a buy for Monday, right? Now, the upside today will be 178.60. That is the support over there. And then the next one will be the downside, will be $77.96. All right, so this is the downside for the crude oil. Okay, now both KSI and this KRW, both of them are red. So by default, right, selling pressure is still kind of expected. Yeah, so traders, please make sure that you take care of it. Okay, so that is the crude oil market. Let's do some currency for dollar yen. Well, dollar yen has pulled back this morning. Today it was practically on the way up, which I saw the doji there, but instead of going up, the market basically stands at a pivot. So with the market as a pivot, there's no way you can win, and usually you pull back down to the next pivot, which in this case really happened. The market actually really pulled down all the way to 129.95. That is the pivot 2 level. What a trade down all the way. KSI was green and the KRW is red, so that means that there should be a the downside will become limited, and then after that you should get traders to come in. All right. Okay, for the pound today, the current price is below the pivot 2. They have tested this morning, but didn't really close above it. So that means that the market now wants to really hear what will happen soon on the CPI data. And if let's say the market really find there is a need to increase the interest rate, right, and there's things may be a bit choppy for the currency market. Upside target after 1.2133, the next one will be 1.2224. Okay, so take note of these few numbers. Yep. Okay, so we have we've done pound and the euro. Did I cover euro just now? Let me just double check. I think we did. All right, so sorry about that. Okay, anyway, let's just continue and let's look at the call on gold and silver. All right, you can take a look right now. Gold is actually coming up. The low went down all the way to 1852, and then it reversed all the way and going to test the level here itself. And the number she's putting is this is the 12. All right, so you can see right now that the market is holding some support around this area. So as long as the market stays supported, the first upside will be 1875, and if it breaches that, then 1900 will be next. But of course, again, all right, this is could be fun. So KSI is red and KRW is cyan color, so mixed back signal. So expect some volatility to happen. And this is silver. Silver has continued to slide down even to $22 already. That's a good deal. I think that we can really squeeze one more down all the way to this point here. All right, $21.23. Okay, that will be good. Okay, so that is the downside for this market right now. Let's see that. Yeah, for gold. This is for silver. Yep, for silver coming down $21.32 will be a good deal. Yep. Okay. All right. So last two will be the Ethereum and the Bitcoin. All right. Let's check on the Ethereum first. Ethereum has pulled back. All right, because of the recently just cannot go higher. Right. Okay. Stop there. Okay. That's the reason why. And of course for today. Let me take away this one here. Not too sure why the thing is not popping up, the pivot. Let me just double check. Okay, it's actually here. Yeah, it's actually kind of a bit lost. Okay, 1 minute. Just clear up the screen. Let me get clearer. Okay, so the two pivot is 1547.5 to 1413. So of course now it's hanging by the thread with this 15475. And if you are able to, look at this right now, if the market stays above the pivot 1547.5, it should be fine. But if the market breaks below it, then of course the selling can bring down to 1398. Yep. Okay. So traders take note about the KSI, and the KCX looks pretty optimistic right now at the moment. All right. So that is the Ethereum. Let's look at the final one. Is Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin has lost the $22,000. I already said that it will happen, and hopefully you remember that and save it. Okay. So the thing is this right now, we have a very strong resistance. Okay, at this point. All right. So we're gonna just make it easier for you. Yeah, okay. The thing is this: if the market cannot go above 123720, the Bitcoin will pull back down everything, and likelihood we will see the market coming down to 30,000. Sorry, 20,000. If the Bitcoin goes below 20,000, well, then things can get very dicey because a lot of these crypto companies, they are actually relying on this to get people in. All right. So guys, don't be the next FTX. It's gonna pay you. You pay a lot. Okay, so that will be the Bitcoin, and that's my overall for today. I hope you liked today's session. Do note once again, all this information is very genuinely from me, and I really only want to give you the best. All right, so leave a comment, and I see you again on Monday. All the best. It's Cal signing off. Bye.